For decades, Troy Dungan was the weather guy with the bow tie. North Texans tuned in to see him in times of good weather and bad. He disappeared from the airwaves in 2007. Gone, but not forgotten. And tonight we catch up with Troy, who's been spending his retirement working the weather here and, well, enjoying the weather here, I should say, and also in some more exotic locales.
I'm going to have to retire from retirement. I'm too busy.
It's been 3 years since we've seen Troy Dungan do the weather in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Maybe you remember me as the weather guy with the bow tie.
But even well into his retirement, he's anything but bored.
I do some commercial work. You've probably heard and seen me selling things. So I'm staying as busy as I want. I worked 3 hours last week. That's about enough, don't you think, for 1 week?
At 71 years old, Dungan is as energetic as many men half his age. He serves on several boards, is an elder at his church, and in part because of his commercial work,
Nolan and I represent the same client.
Spends several weeks each year traveling with his wife of 38 years, Janet.
Helps supports my vacation habit. I make some bucks doing this, and it's fun. Fortunately, I don't have to depend on that, but it's good to have that extra income.
He doesn't have to depend on it because during his more than 30 years as chief weather anchor at WFAA Channel 8,
You'll like this, I think.
the Hillsboro native tried to spend his money wisely. For one thing, unlike many of his peers, he chose not to buy more house than he and his family needed.
I'm Troy. I'm a recovering weatherman. Now, I knew a lot of people in the 80s that did that overbought, and they were sorry they did later. The house we live in is the same house we've lived in since 1976. Everything in this house, it speaks of us and stuff we've collected or done or whatever.
He and Janet raised 3 children in that house.
They got married 8 weeks apart in 1998.
And now they have one grandchild, 3.5-year-old Jacqueline, who was born right around the time he retired. They see Jacqueline in Oklahoma City as often as they can, but many of their trips are spent in more exotic locations. Venice, Italy is a favorite spot, but their most recent vacation late last year took them to Prague, Budapest, and Vienna. So what did Troy decide to have imported for their trip? You guessed it.
When you're in Vienna, you gotta have Vienna sausage, right?
I love it. During his 3 decades doing weather in Dallas-Fort Worth, viewers never saw Dungan wearing a straight tie. That's because he doesn't own any. But he does own more than 200 bow ties, which became his trademark before he even got to Dallas.
I was standing in the middle of Pontiac Lake in Detroit, not walking on water. That's only been done once. The ice was about that thick. It was so cold, and I was wanting to wear a high-neck sweater, but you couldn't see the tie. And I thought, if I had a bow tie, then you could wear the high-neck sweaters. And we had the blazers with the channel number on them. So I started doing that. I got some bow ties, and I started wearing them. It's 1974.
Retirement certainly seems to suit him, but I wondered if he ever misses the excitement of covering the weather, especially during big weather events like we saw during Super Bowl week.
The weather is in my rearview mirror. I enjoyed doing the weather, but it was just time to stop doing that. And you can like something a lot and have enough of it. So I had enough of it. I don't miss it.
He says he also feels fortunate that he was able to leave on his terms. And although the Dallas-Fort Worth market is much different than the one he entered in 1976, there are some things that appeal to him.
So of course I like the way I did the weather. I really like the way Larry Mowry does the weather, because honestly, he does it kind of like I would. Well, naturally.
Exactly. Troy is here with us tonight, and we want to thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Karen.
We did see that you have done so many great things since your retirement, but does any one thing stand out in your mind as
You
being
showed
favorite?
the best one, the 3.5-year-old granddaughter. She is very, very special. It's our only grandchild, but also I get to do a little commercial work, and I get to make speeches, a lot of them Christian-oriented speeches, and I'm blessed. This is just a good time of my life.
It is, and also we are going to add to this occasion now because Troy's good buddy and mine, Tracy Rowlett, joins us now. Now, this is the first time in almost 12 years that the two of you all have been in a newscast.
That's right.
Together. But you've been close friends for decades, something that did not diminish when you came to join us, Tracy, in 1999.
1999. No, it didn't. In fact, Troy and I made a point of making certain that our friendship remained intact, and he's one of my dear buddies.
And
My buddy too. 35 years later, I love this man.
and just last night, a paying audience came to see you guys.
Yeah, we got paid to speak last night.
Well,
This is a
Well,
black
they say the
tie.
check is in the mail.
This is a black tie event. Let's go ahead and show that video now. The two of you guys always had an incredible rapport, and that's why so many people turned out to hear you guys talk last night.
Dallas Knife and Fork Club, 35 years, stories we could not tell you on the air. There were no recordings to be made.
That's the lovely Jill there to
Certainly
head her back to the
was, certainly
camera.
was.
I'd also mention that Troy and Janet and John and Joe Goodjohnson, someone with whom we worked before, and Jill and I get together at least once a month and we have dinner to make certain that we always touch base because these friendships are so important.
It's a testament to friendship.
Absolutely.
And
It is.
tomorrow at 10, we're going to give viewers a glimpse into your life, Tracy, and we're going to talk about an issue that's very close to your heart, but I don't want you to talk about it right now because I don't want you to give anything away.
No, we won't.
Okay.
We'll look forward to that.
We will see you tomorrow, and thanks to both of you
Thank
for
you,
joining
Karen.
us.
Thank you.
Doug?